Good evening, Midwest Mania guests. Tonight's podcast, we have Dan Rodriguez with us. Would you like to introduce yourself, Dan?
Yeah, so Dan Rodriguez here. I kind of came up with the two trad tabs, two finger trad tab, traditional archery tab. So that's kind of my little thing going on right now.
Okay. Let's get the I would say the five important questions out. You've already got two of them done. Where are you located at, and why did you do this?
So I'm over a little town here in Michigan, Sparta, Michigan is where I'm located at.
All right.
Kind of reason behind the tab, I've always been a two-finger shooter. Kind of like most of the traditional guys came from compound. I always shot a two-finger release. I'm sorry. That whole time I played around with some 3-4s, but I always went back to two.
Yeah.
And actually came up with my design on a two-finger release a while back too, and still use that today if I ever get back in the compound. But so I always tinker with everything and kind of just mess around with the two-finger tab, and you know that ring finger is always like right there hanging. That's kind of where I kind of had that thought and started working with that.
And I used to shoot with a glove, but I just switched to shooting the tab. And I got to get you the measurements so I can test one out of yours. I'm gonna measure it after our podcast and send you the info. But you get a lot cleaner release with tab, and it's designed for shooting 300, correct?
Yeah. Currently, yeah, a cleaner release definitely seems to be more consistent with a lot of guys that have got that tab. I've really felt that way too. Kind of feels like if I have a pluck, that pluck becomes a little bit more minimal.
Okay.
Just not having that third finger there to kind of drag.
Okay.
So I definitely feel like it's got a cleaner release. You know, and the two-finger stuff isn't for everybody. I'll never try to promote it or try to, sell it to somebody. And, I mean, it's definitely worth a try. And if you're coming from, like, a 3-under tab,
Yeah.
it's really good. It's a really good transition because you're still essentially kind of pulling with 3. You just have 2 fingers on the string. If anybody hasn't seen that tab, it has a hook on the bottom side of that tab, so your ring finger rests on that hook. That stays behind the string, and then you're essentially just pulling. Still 3 fingers. You just have that ring finger on a hook off the string.
Okay.
So did a little testing, nothing crazy, but I was gaining a little bit of feet per second, 2 or 3 feet per second. Nothing kind of scientific. I shot about 3, 4, 5 bows out of it and different arrows, and I was consistently getting right there about 2 to 3 feet per second faster. If that means anything to anybody, but I'm a short draw, 27-inch, so
All right.
speed isn't really that big of a deal, and I think I'm right around 150 feet per second right now with the setup that I currently have.
Now, what's your setup?
So right now, I am running an ILF setup.
All right.
I got a 21-inch riser, just a cheapy EXE riser, but I've just kind of bought it just to try it out, and I like it quite a bit. I'm running a medium limb on it. It's like a 40-pound limb. I'm right around 38 pounds at 27.
Okay.
It's kind of what that bow is set up right now at. I'm running a springy rest off of it. Just nothing special, but it's actually working really well. And I got some nice bows hanging there, a couple custom ones and stuff like that. But I kind of go back and forth between the ILF and the longbow. I'm more of a longbow guy than a recurve, but I got a longbow coming, right in that same range there. And, I think once I get that one, it'll be right back to that longbow stuff, wood stuff. So
I would say, since you're a Michigan boy, have you ever heard of River Rising Bow Company? Tom Moran owns it. I shoot one of his bows. I love it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I know. I've seen him quite a few times there on some of the shows around and whatnot. I've seen him come up on there. So
his workmanship is like phenomenal. And he's not like a big company or anything like that. I think Tom, don't quote me on this. And Tom, if you're listening, I'm sorry if I get the number wrong. I think he makes like 300 to 400 bows a year.
wow.
But it's heirloom quality. I'll send you a picture of my bow. And I bought it. I bought it. I guess third hand because I'm like the third owner of it, but it's like 3 years old. And it's Osage and Tigerwood is the riser. Then it's got maple. It's a 3-piece takedown. It's got like maple limbs and I think they're fiberglass and maple limbs. It's beautiful.
Okay. What's the length on that again, and poundage wise, and all that jazz?
I think it's like 60 or 62, but I know it's 43 at 28. And
okay.
I have a 31-inch draw, and it doesn't pinch at all, and doesn't stack.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's so many good bowyers now. It's hard to just pick one and stick with one. You know what I mean? Sometimes I fall into that trap. Oh, this guy's got this bow, I like it, and I try to stay in there. But man, there's so many good bowyers out, and so many cool looking bows, and things that are working really well that don't stag, that perform really well. But yeah, that's cool. I've seen, like I said, a lot of times on the sheet there, something pops up on some vendors and stuff. So I gotta check them out. I don't think I've really had time to check them out, I guess, and dig into that.
Yeah, and these bows are like price range. They're not the ones that I've seen like brand new are like $700-800.
That's good. Yeah.
And you get a hell of a lot more than what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pay that much for mine. My buddy Jeremy you might know my buddy Jeremy DeFundy. I call him the horse trader of bows. I bought it off him. He bought it with like an allotment of bows. And he goes, here, I got one. He wasn't going to sell it. I go, I want that bow. He goes, I said, will you take payments? He said, yes. I said, sold.
Oh, yeah.
And
well, cool.
I like it. And I'll send you pictures. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, it sounds pretty nice. What do you got for an arrow? What are you shooting for an arrow out of that?
All reality, I can go for a 650 grain arrow, and it shoots at 170 feet per second.
Okay.
So I know the speed's not a big thing, but like it sort of helps a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then this year I'm playing around and I dropped my spine weight, my grain weight down, and right now I'm shooting Black Eagle Vintage because I found I had like a half dozen left, and I just put a 100 grain insert in it. I run a 200 grain 4-pointer broadhead.
Okay.
And they shoot like butter out of that bow.
Yeah, that's those vintage arrows. I really like those. I got a couple dozen of those. I really like those arrows. They do really well. But yeah, that sounds like a good setup for sure.
And the arrows I really like, I got them from my buddy Jeremy too, but they don't make them anymore. They're Carbon Express Heritage.
Oh, yep.
And I don't even know what spine they are because their spining system's so weird. I think it's like a 350 spine I can shoot out of there, but that bow's cut past center.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much can shoot. I shouldn't say anything out of there because it does have limitations, but I like them. But they were shorter arrows, but I have a neck injury, so I was drawn at 28 for like the last 2 years, and they worked perfect for me. Now I went to rehab for my neck and got all that stuff, so I'm past 28 now. I'm like 29, 30, 31, depending on the day.
Okay.
And I need longer arrows.
Yeah, I tend to go with a longer arrow now. Just kind of with the tab part of it, I've met some really cool guys.
Do you gap shoot?
Yeah,
To extent.
that's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm moving to now. I used to be more of an instinctive
Yeah.
shooter. Um, it works, you know what I mean. I did pretty good with it in learning some gaps and stuff like that after the fact. Like, um, I shot a little league that we have, at our local club, and I finally was able to use that gap system a little bit, and definitely my scores went up quite a bit. I ended up winning that one that year. We don't have a lot of trad shooters in this little area that I'm at, but just going out and shooting, you know what I mean, just kind of seeing how those worked. And I was, at that time when I did that, I was changing my anchor. Talking with so John Starks. I don't know if anybody,
I've heard
if you
of
know
him.
John Starks. Yeah. So John.
I've heard of him. I don't know him.
Yep. John is a heck of a shooter, man. He's on the USA team now, shooting the tab. Phenomenal guy. I give him a lot of credit. He's just been an awesome guy, man, to talk over these tabs with, and worked with him on some of these tabs and whatnot. But I get to talk with him and learn some stuff. And I went to a little bit different anchor. A lot of that stuff was helping me out quite a bit, and stuff like that, But yeah, that gap is nice. Just having something to kind of reference and do that kind of stuff was working really well for me. And I'm still doing that now. Anchor, I've kind of messed with Anchor a little bit now with this other tab that I got here, and just kind of cruising with that, and it's working pretty good. I mean, I shot a little bit today and shot pretty well. So.
And I got to actually see one of your tabs at Horicon March in Wisconsin 2 weeks ago. A guy, I don't know Chad's last name. He's a bigger dude.
Chad Emler, yep.
Yep, and I got to see it. I didn't get to use it, but we all shot together, and I said, yeah, Dan's coming to my podcast in a few weeks. I gotta set something up, and he goes, if you get one, you'll like it. Okay.
Chad said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad, man, Chad has been with me from the beginning. He bought the first tab that I had out. So the tab's really been out about a year.
Okay.
Compton, last year at Compton is when he got that tab. Him and I had just been, we chat just about every day. He's been another really good guy to be with, and he does do a lot of stuff with that tab, gets it out there. He gets it out there a lot more than I do. But yeah, he's just been an awesome dude, man. Like just a great friend. And we just finally met at Kalamazoo. We had the Kalamazoo show here.
Yeah.
He ended up coming down, and he sat in the booth with me a little bit. That's the first time I ever messed with anything like that. He sat in the booth a little bit, walked around and everything, and it was good to finally meet him in person instead of just chatting all the time, over the phone. So.
He's a pretty cool guy. He's a big bear archery guy, I think
yeah,
he had a bunch of bear archery stuff for sale when I was there.
Yeah, he's got some bows. He's got a lot of stuff, and he likes certain stuff, and finding out what's working better for him, and all that kind of stuff. But
now what
tab did he have there that you saw?
It was one of your tabs because it had the finger like I call it like the trigger. I was looking at it. I go, who makes that? I already knew who made it. I just wanted to see what he would say. He goes,
okay.
2-center trad tab. A guy named Dan Rodriguez. Look him up on the internet. Look him up on Facebook. I said, I showed him your phone, your number in my phone. He goes, why ain't you shooting one? I said, because I haven't got one yet. I just switched to a tab like this weekend. He laughed. He goes, seriously? I go, yeah.
I know he's got a couple of them. His go-to is the original, one of my original ones that I just haven't done a whole lot of those anymore. Kind of just, this past year I've had a handful of different models, I guess, if you want to call that. But he really likes the original one. I got to get him some more just so he can have some more. But like I said, he's been super helpful. He gets that tab out. Really does a good job, getting it out there and get guys to shoot it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, once we get off here, just do your measurement there. We'll figure that out. But these new ones, I'm pretty pumped on here, for sure.
And I like the tab because I can flip it over and like answer my phone instead of having a glove on. And like I'm trying to answer the phone with my nose.
Yep.
And I don't know. And the tab I got is like a hand me down from my buddy Jeremy because he's a horse trader of bows and all archery gear.
Yep.
And it's not. I don't know who made it. It's definitely custom because it's got turtle shell on one side, deer skin, deer fur as like the string side, and
Okay.
then it's got deer prints down the spine of it. It's pretty cool, but
Yeah.
it's been cut, and it's almost if I don't want to cut it anymore. I think it's actually for a left-handed shooter, to be honest with you, but it works for me, or at least it's been working. So,
Yeah.
and the only reason
Yeah.
why I did that is because I had it in the Explorer. And I left my glove at home. I was already at 40 minutes to his house, so I was running late. He goes, I said, I got a tab. Let me try. I guess I'll roll with this. And
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I usually run a magnet on mine, a very small little magnet on my tab.
Okay.
So I don't really run that tab tight on my finger. It's a little loose.
Okay.
So anytime that I need to take it off, I can just kind of rip it off. And if you're running like an ILF setup, right, like you have a little
hook
bit
it
more
right to it.
material, you can just hook it somewhere on a metal, whatever. Even like your 3-piece bows, a lot of the bolts, I just
That's
do it
that's
there,
what I'm
so,
thinking. I can just hook it right onto it. I mean that would definitely work. I mean I don't know why I would have it off in the tree stand, but if I had to take it off or something, I could just put it right on my freaking limb bolt.
Yeah, so I'm working with a buddy of mine here. Actually, he lives right down the road, but we're doing some of these pocket quivers as well, and that's how we kind of run them now. Is we run this 2-piece magnet, and then we mount that to the quiver, pocket quiver, and then if you take it off, you can just take it off, and
Put it,
you don't even got to look. You just put it right on there. It clips right on there, and
That's cool.
it just hangs.
that is really cool.
So, well, yeah, it's working pretty good that way. I've been doing it for a little bit now. I know a couple guys have kind of taken over that and using it as well. But it's kind of nice because you can just take it off, leave it there. You know what I mean? And it's always kind of ready there.
I gotta send you what I've been working on. I've been me and my old boss made this like years ago, and I finally found it. Well, he was an aerospace engineer, and it's a arrow puller like built in, but then it has it's only like a Swiss Army knife. You think about it. It has where you can like screw like inserts into it and like put them in your arrows without like
Okay.
holding and melt. Like you don't have to like hold it with a pair of pliers and melt glue on it at the same damn time. Then put it like grab it. Then it has a tap if you're say if you have a boogered up insert.
Yep.
It has a tap and it also has a die for the point side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. It's cool, man. There's so many guys that tinker with stuff and figure so many cool little gadgets like that, and it's such a bunch of useful stuff that everybody that shoots archery really could use in their quiver or in their pocket.
And he shot archery. He was my boss at because I'm an ASC Master Tech Automotive, and I don't do that anymore to health reasons. But we came up with that, and he designed it. He had before 3D printers were like the thing. He had one, and I don't know how much money it cost him to do it, but he made it. And now my other buddy, he doesn't do it anymore. And I said, "Do you still have those dimensions on it?" He goes, "Yeah." And he gave it to me in a floppy disk.
Yeah.
I gave it to my other buddy that's an engineer. I said, "Do you guys think I can pull this off?" He goes, "Yep." So okay, here's all the info. He goes, "I'll try to make it." He goes, "Where are we getting the tools part from?" I said, "I don't know. I gotta figure out where he got it from." I think he just ordered stuff on Amazon, cheap stuff, and just set it in there and hot glued it in. But it works.
Yeah.
So what broadheads are you running? So we were talking about arrows.
Yeah, so I've been running, I think they kind of went to a different name, but I'm just running the Helix.
Okay.
I think it's a single bevel, 200 grain. I got 150s and 200s. I kind of run different arrow setups, whatnot. But right now, what I'll have this year is those. I've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 packs of them that I just kind of bought over the couple of years just to have extras, I guess. But that's what I've run. I like those, you know what I mean? I know there's a lot of them out there. But I've shot stuff with it. Great. You know, I've really had some good luck with those things. If it's not broke, I won't fix it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. That's just kind of what I got, and I'll keep that. And when they're gone, they're gone. And resharpen them if I can, whatever, this and that. But for the most part, that's what I'm running.
Now, I'll give you a little helpful advice on single bevels, sharpening them. Go buy yourself a work sharp knife, like a knife sharpener, like not like the electric ones, but like the ones that you have to slide the thing up and down.
Yep.
Day and night.
Yeah, I think I've heard a lot of that with that work stuff there. That does a pretty good job there.
And it works really great on double bevels. I bought last year was the first year of my daughter bow hunting on her own, and she went and got her hunter safety course and got her hunt license and all that stuff. Well, I bought some cheap knockoff. I think you would call them. It's a cross between like like it's almost like an old Magnus Classic, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Okay.
And I could get 24 for $14 on Amazon. The steel was a little soft, but I wouldn't care if like she lost her shot in the dirt, no problem. And but I could get those things razor sharp and they fly like field points.
Wow.
And they're glue in, so I can put any insert weight I want into it.
Yep.
And
nice.
Make a long story short, at the trad event I met Chad at, Wisconsin Bow Hunters like museum was there, and they were selling some stuff. And I got looking at these single bevels, and I want grizzlies, but grizzlies are at back order. Well, they had a bag of old grizzlies, like original grizzlies there. And I go, "What do you want to do with these?" He goes, "Well, we get stuff donated to us, and we can't use it all. So I got 18 grizzly broadheads for $20 with the original receipt and how many grains they were from the original store that made them in Madison, Wisconsin."
That's a good find.
And they're not junk. They're easy to sharpen.
Yep.
Well, the cool thing about this, I didn't realize it had a postcard, and some of these broadheads were like they had the original owner's name on them, and they were marked with like a number. And I looked at that number, and it correlates with a Pope and Young number. So this guy shot an elk, a mule deer, a whitetail buck, and a black bear, and a moose with these broadheads. So those 5, and actually I should say 4, because 2 of them shot 2 of those animals with 1 broadhead. So So I just put those to the side, but they clean up nice and they work. They fly great. People have a lot of problems. I hear like those long 3-to-1 broadheads. People have a lot of tuning problems, and I never had any issue with them.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. That's a whole nother story with some of this tuning stuff. And Chad and I talk about it a lot. You know what I mean? I got another buddy that shoots a lot. Man, we talk about it every day or whatnot, and you know how we overthink a lot of the simplest things. You know what I mean? And somebody says to do this, you do that, and then you fight with it because it doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's a struggle, man. It's hard to get out of it. But yeah, my buddy Justin, him and I talk quite a bit. You know, we usually talk on the way home from work and whatnot. But it's like I'm fighting this, I'm fighting that, and it's like, man, we just got to go back to like just a lot of more simpler stuff and work on some of these other things. But you know, whatever works for you, and you know, if you can make it work and be consistent with it, I mean, that's just the whole deal, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it's a 2-finger or a 3-finger glove or split. You know, and that's the thing too, like with the tabs and the gloves, you know, and all that kind of stuff, like those things are pretty, you know, relatively cheap, right, for the trad stuff. Like, you can buy a lot of that stuff. You can and try everything out. You could try split. You could try a glove. You could try a 3 under, 2 under, whatever it is, and still be, you know, relatively cheap, I guess, compared to like a release on a compound that you're spending $300 on or whatever. And put some time into it and see what just feels comfortable, right? Just like a grip on a bow. Like for me right now, like the grip has to be it. Like it doesn't matter whose bow it is. Like if you put your hand in there and that thing just feels phenomenal, I mean, it's going to be hard to not leave with that bow, you know. And I think a tab has to kind of feel that way as well. You know, you put it on, and if you can draw back and you feel a little cramped, maybe try another one. See how, like, naturally you just pull back. If it feels really good, I mean, put that aside and try the other ones, and go back to that one and do that kind of stuff, man. Like, ever since I went to two-finger, like, I feel much more stretched out, more in that T form, I guess, if you want to call it that. And my alignment seems to be much better. I don't know if it's just that third finger on the string that kind of held me up, and then having that kind of relax behind the string now.
And do you anchor at the corner of your mouth?
If we talk about the tab, this current tab I got out, so the current one that I have out right now is called the Wedge.
Okay.
I got the Wedge, the Wedgie. Have you seen that one? Have you seen that one yet or no?
No. I'll look it up, get pictures, because I'm gonna add photos of this when I put it out.
Yeah, so you could see a little, most of them, like I'll just do a lot more stuff, a little bit on Instagram, kind of leaning more that way.
Okay.
I suck at social media, I'll just tell you that right now, like I'm horrible at that. I just do, but I try to do a little bit more on Instagram on there. So, but basically what this tab is now, still the hook on the tab.
Okay.
But these are actually a 3D printed tab now.
Okay.
But what's the difference is it is a narrow top and then it wedges wider at the bottom.
Okay.
So it's putting your hand in a better position from the start.
Okay.
So what I incorporated in that tab as well is on the top corner, I have 3 little ridges up there, and I'm kind of calling those like an anchor indicator.
Okay.
So you can kind of draw back and anchor into those, and when you start to feel them, like you know you're at anchor, and then after that you just go through your shot process and pull through your shot, follow through all that kind of stuff. You can do it that way. You can kind of just draw back and kind of do like a soft anchor, start pulling into it until you feel it, and then fire. Like there's probably more ways to shoot it than that, but those are the kind of 2 ways that I've been shooting that thing. So I'm anchoring a little bit higher with that tab, like those indicators are kind of right under my cheekbone, and I try to just go right back to that same spot. I can feel when it's not there, when it's off a little bit with those indicators now. So those have been really helpful. Like I guess I was kind of trying to get to the point where guys would do, like maybe not use the feather to nose kind of thing.
Okay.
Kind of maybe taking away the clicker a little bit, like you're starting to get a little bit of another anchor kind of built into that tab.
I do the feather, like tip of my nose and fingers at the corner of my mouth.
Yep.
Then my third like anchor, I reach back and like touch my earlobe when I release. And sometimes that's how theoretically that's how it's supposed to work, but I don't do that all the freaking time.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like the consistency part. Like this tab for me has really got me more consistent in my anchor, my alignment. Everything is much more consistent for me with this tab. You know, I know there's quite a bit of other guys that have kind of the same thought. You know, Chad for one as well. But it really has got to. You know, this tab specifically right now has so much difference in it. Than anything that I've ever seen, with the wedge design, with the wider hook at the bottom, with those anchor indicators. I have like 5 vertical holes on it, so like you can run that finger cord up or down a little bit. You can kind of do a little bit of a fine adjustment on that tab, how it feels in your hand.
All right.
So that one's kind of been doing pretty good here. I'm doing my best to try to get them out. I just been. We're so busy right now with just summer stuff and everything. It's hard for me to really focus on that at times. I do everything by hand, so I cut all the material by hand. I run a piece of corded in for the face, and it's like a little kangaroo backer on the back side of it. So I cut everything by hand. I'm just kind of just the one man show. I just I do what I can, the best that I can, and it is what it is. Like, not everything's perfect, but you're gonna cut it anyways. Like, and stuff to fit your hand there, because it'll come kind of like a square piece of material, and then you can just kind of trim it. But the other one that I got kind of coming right now, I haven't done a whole lot of. I don't do a whole lot of marketing or anything like that. My view, this is just me. Is if something's working, it'll get out there, right?
Yeah.
I won't go out there and try to promote it. If somebody else does, great. I appreciate that a ton. That's just not me. If there's something that's working well, it'll find its way out there, and guys will look for it. And it's been doing really well. I've had some really good guys calling and chatting over it and stuff like that. So, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to meet some of these guys and talk to these guys that you see on the big stage at Lancaster or winning this and that. There's some guys that are gonna get it, and hopefully it'll work for them. You know what I mean? But if it doesn't, it doesn't. I get it. So the other one I got is basically the same model, that 300 tab or that 200 tab there with the hook.
Yeah.
But I actually added a fourth hook on there, so you actually have a place for your pinky. If you shoot a lot of compound, and you shoot releases like that, this tab it feels just like that.
Okay.
There's a different way to shoot it. I will say that I think it's going to work pretty good. That's not the norm, right?
Yeah.
But I have had some amazing groups with that tab shooting it a little bit different way than what is being taught. It is, like I said, it is what it is. Like, you just find what works for you, and if you can make that thing work, doing whatever, that's how you should be. You know what I mean? Don't just because this guy's telling you to do this doesn't mean you got to follow that. Like, there's a lot of basics that we should all look at as far as some form wise.
Yeah.
But not everybody's built the same, and I'm starting to realize that a lot more. And whatever works, man. Like, if it's working for you and you're consistent, just keep that and do it. If that means you're shooting a cheaper bow, then if the grip feels good and whatever, it is what it is. Keep shooting it and have fun and improve. You know what I mean? It's hard to improve with trash stuff because you got to be shooting. You got to be shooting every day, but it's amazing how well you can shoot with a stick and a string.
I'll tell you, I'm a better bow hunter than I'm a 3D shooter. But I'm shooting in the championship for trad for the Midwest Archery Championship. I think the guy I have to shoot against uses one of your tabs, Josh Bodencheck. I'm not too sure or not, but I think he tried out for the USA team. He shot Lancaster, and he's a great guy. He's one of my friends. But I think he does have one of your tabs.
I think that name does sound familiar there.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the wedge ones are just kind of rolling out a little bit. There's not a ton of people that have them, but it's definitely a cool looking tab for sure.
Now, do they come in different? Do they come in different colors? Like the.
Currently, what I have is black, orange, and yellow.
Okay.
So majority of the time, it seems like guys kind of want this orange color, just to see it if you drop it, I guess.
Yep.
But I usually run like a kind of like a reflective shot cord on there, so a little bit of a bungee cord that's got some reflective in it.
Okay.
Just in case you do drop it, you should be able to maybe, go back the way you walked, and maybe you can find it or whatever. But
I was thinking, like, hunting wise, that orange would be good, except in the fall.
Yep.
But the reflective on it would work, definitely.
Yep. Yeah. It's hard, I lost a tab coming home from my club. I live across the street from a gun club here, and we got a 3D course, and I take the same trail back and forth. I just kind of ride my my four-wheeler over there, and I dropped mine, man, and I'm like, oh, man. And I didn't have anything on mine. I just had it all blacked out, right? And I'm like, man, I took my time. I walked through that trail. It's not a huge trail, but it's a decent little walk there, and I found it, but I'm like, man, the black looks cool. All kind of blacked out, looks kind of cool, but you definitely got to have some color to find it.
Yeah.
Some of this, but yeah, majority of the time, a lot of guys kind of like that orange, and a couple guys get some yellow ones and whatnot, and stuff like that. A lot of guys just don't even care. It seems like they're just, it is what it is, and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Instagram is probably the better place to kind of just look at that a little bit easier.
Okay.
I don't do a ton with it. I try to upload a little bit here or there and stuff. But like I said, I'm not the best at that stuff, and do what I can,
And I was gonna say, what's what I was saying? I don't remember what it's crap. Where why I forget about this? Where can they buy your tabs at? And we were talking about measurements earlier. I was gonna measure myself, and you were gonna send me one. What measurements do they need to measure before they order one?
Yeah, so if you do take a look on Instagram, that'd probably be the best bet there. You get on Instagram, check them out. If there's something there that kind of interests you, just shoot me a message on there.
Okay.
And I'll shoot you my number, and then we can just chat. Like I just
okay.
Chat about it and stuff like that. And we can talk over some measurement stuff. Like right now, that version of the wedge, which is just going to be your standard like 2-finger on the string, and your single hook on there. Okay. I kind of have 2 sizes right now. There's a mini size, which is going to be 2.5 inches. That's from the very top of that tab to the middle of the hook.
Okay.
The full size is going to be 2 3/4 from the top of the tab to the middle of the hook. It's a little weird. Like I'm only like 5'4". I can shoot both those tabs well, but I much rather prefer that smaller one. I know John, like I mentioned earlier, like John's a kind of a bigger guy. He's much bigger than me. And he originally thought that full size one that was 2 3/4 was going to fit better. And I believe currently he's using that 2.5 incher, so that mini size. That thing, man, when you put it in your hand, you kind of sand the edges down, just round them over a little bit. Man, that thing just feels amazing in your hand. Like you can just make a fist and it just sits right in your hand perfectly. It's super comfortable. This double hook one, same thing. It's a pretty cool feeling tab for sure. Definitely different than what most of us have already grown up shooting, just a regular tab type of thing. But yeah, it's kind of impressive the way it worked pretty well, and stuff like that. But yeah, just give them a check. Check them out on Instagram. And if you got some questions, shoot me a message on there. And
I think
happy to talk.
I would say I think the double hook one might work better for me because I have cerebral palsy.
Yeah, take a look at it, man, when you get off and stuff like that, and look at it. But my goal from the very beginning, I know I told Chad this because he was, like I said, he bought the first one. We chatted about it. There's a lot of nice tabs out. There's not a ton of 2 fingers when I was looking. There's a couple there. But my goal was to not have just another tab like available, right?
Yeah.
I wanted a tab that was going to be different, but really do some better for your shooting, right? And you may not think you can get that out of a tab for the traditional stuff, but I really feel like this tab has. If you give it some time, you shoot it, you know, put an honest effort into it. Like I think you're going to see the difference. I mean, the tab's only been out within a year, and there's 2 guys in the USA team that are shooting that tab. So it's doing pretty good, But the other thing, too, is if you get a tab, you know what I mean, I'd like to chat with you and just kind of keep updated, right? Like just anybody that has one, I'll try to get with you once or twice, you know what I mean? Just try to get back and say, hey, how's the tab working? What are your thoughts, blah, blah. Just just kind of build a little relationship. It's not. I don't want it to be like, here's a tab, give me this, see you later. You know what I mean? Just try to build some relationship. Try to get some guys together. Start chatting and stuff like that, and just kind of build a little bit of a friendship through that tab and stuff like that. Is kind of where I wanted to go with this stuff. So. Well, it's been really good. There's been a lot of good guys that I'm able to chat with, and through this little bit of time that they have been out. So.
All right. That's about it. But I'm gonna do my sponsors. I'm gonna end the podcast, and I'm gonna continue talking to you on the phone. So.
Yeah.
Hang on, Dan. That wraps it up for Midwest Mania Outdoors. Tonight's episode was sponsored by Compton Traditional Bow Hunters. Check them out. It's a great group to be with. VPA, also known as Vantage Point Archery. Use my promo code at checkout, Midwest Mania 10 for 10% off at any item. Zwicky Archery Incorporated, some of the oldest broadheads in the game. And check out his Dan Rodriguez two-finger trad tabs. Give them a try. And remember, do what you love. Life's too short. That's a quote from the greatest Bulgarian fisherman, one of my best friends, Lubomir Antonov, better known as Lubaka. Everybody have a nice night. Peace.
Yeah.